A new discovery in the deserts of Giza. Archaeologists are unearthing hidden chambers that have remained untouched for thousands of years. But this time, they've uncovered something they weren't expecting, a secret that should have stayed buried forever. Deep in the sands of Giza, a group of archaeologists have been hard at work excavating a vast burial complex. Under the guidance of Professor Evelyn Wright, an expert in ancient Egyptian tombs, the team was making significant progress in uncovering the secrets held within the massive structure. For weeks, they meticulously brushed away centuries of dust and debris, revealing intricate hieroglyphics and passages leading deeper into the heart of the pyramid. But what they found next would change everything. Hidden beneath hundreds of years of accumulated sand, the team came across a stone entrance leading to a passage so well concealed that even casual explorers could not have stumbled upon it. As they made their way through the underground labyrinth, the oppressive silence was broken only by the sound of scraping tools and hushed voices. Each turn brought them closer to a mystery that had lain dormant for millennia. Then, suddenly, their flashlights fell upon an inscription carved into the wall. Strange hieroglyphs decorated the archway. Among the strange symbols was a name long erased from history: Pharaoh Amos-Neket, the ruler who had vanished mysteriously all those years ago. His tomb had never been found. Legend had it that the pharaoh had disappeared without a trace, leaving his legacy shrouded in enigma. Now here they were, standing at the threshold of his final resting place. With trembling hands and racing hearts, the archaeologists began the arduous task of opening the sealed passage. After hours of painstaking effort, the heavy stone door groaned open, revealing a dark void beyond. A gust of ancient, dry wind escaped, carrying with it the scent of a long-dead world. The team took a deep breath and descended a narrow stone staircase that spiraled down into the darkness. As they went lower, the air grew colder, sending shivers down their spines. Finally, they arrived at a grand chamber that lay before them. At the end of the passage stood a gigantic black granite sarcophagus adorned with intricate carvings of mythical creatures and cryptic symbols. Flanking the coffin were statues of 4 deities: Anubis, the guide of the dead; Isis, the goddess of magic and healing; Horus, the sky god and symbol of royalty; and Set, the deity of chaos and violence. The walls of the chamber were covered in vivid paintings depicting mysterious mummification rituals and a pharaoh rising majestically from the dead. The discovery of the tombs sent shock waves through the academic community. Experts from around the world gathered to witness the sight firsthand. Among them was Dr. Samir Hassan, a renowned Egyptologist who had dedicated his career to unraveling the secrets of ancient Egypt. As Samir stepped into the tomb, he felt a sense of awe mixed with trepidation. The sheer grandeur of the sight was breathtaking, yet he couldn't shake off the feeling that they had disturbed something they were not meant to. But it was what they found next that would turn the discovery of the tomb upside down. Inside the chamber, nestled beside the sarcophagus, was a small pedestal holding a fragile papyrus scroll. The ancient document was covered in hieroglyphic script, each stroke of the quill telling a story of a bygone era. With trembling hands, Samir carefully unrolled the papyrus, revealing faded ink that had survived for millennia. As he deciphered the text, his face drained of color, for the scroll contained a tale both fascinating and terrifying. It spoke of Pharaoh Akhmimsepter, who defied the gods in his quest for eternal life. In his obsession, he turned to the most forbidden practices, summoning the priests of shadow who performed the ritual of raising the dead. The scroll told of a ritual of such immense power that it trapped the soul between the realms of life and death, forever cursed to wander in the shadows. What they were about to do would change history. The archaeologists knew that they were in the presence of something truly extraordinary. The discovery of the scroll added a chilling new layer to their findings. The ritual described on the papyrus was a dangerous one, a taboo practice that had been whispered about in legends, but never proven to exist. It spoke of a ceremony that could cheat death, but at what cost? The team realized they had stumbled upon a pivotal moment in history, a chance to witness firsthand the mysteries that had fascinated mankind for generations. Yet they couldn't shake off the feeling that they were playing with forces beyond their understanding. The tomb remained a hive of activity as experts from various fields conducted their investigations. Archaeologists, historians, and scientists worked tirelessly to uncover every last detail, poring over the artifacts and inscriptions to piece together the enigma of the pharaoh and his forbiddance ritual. But as days turned into weeks, a sense of unease began to settle over the site. Team members started experiencing strange phenomena that defied explanation. Tools would go missing only to be found in strange places. Lights flickered ominously, and whispers seemed to echo through the silent chambers. Some dismissed these events as tricks of the mind, while others sensed that they were witnessing something more sinister. Then, one fateful day, as one of the archaeologists removed the lid of the sarcophagus, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the tomb. They all rushed to the chamber where they found the source of the commotion. The mummy's hand had twitched. They thought it was hallucination. That was until the tomb doors slammed shut on their own, plunging them into total darkness. The air grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy. Their flashlights flickered wildly, casting grotesque shadows that danced menacingly on the walls. Suddenly, the shadows began to shift, forming shapes that were both familiar and disturbing. They coalesced into images that sent shivers down their spines, depicting scenes from the very scroll they had found. The mummification, the ritual, and then the pharaoh rising from his tomb. As if awakening from a nightmare, they scrambled for the exit. But as they ran, they realized with horror that the layout of the tomb was shifting, the passages twisting and turning in ways that made no sense. The statues of Anubis, Isis, Horus, and Set seemed to follow them with their unblinking eyes. Whispers slithered through the darkness, echoing the words from the scroll, "He who wakes the pharaoh shall taste eternal wrath." Fear propelled them forward as they raced through the disorienting labyrinth. They could hear the sound of shuffling feet behind them, getting closer. Then came a low growl that seemed to emanate from the very walls, a monstrous sound that chilled them to the bone. Whatever was pursuing them was ancient, powerful, and enraged. In a desperate search for a way out, they found another inscription, one that offered a glimmer of hope in their harrowing escape. Carved into the wall was a counter spell, a way to return the pharaoh to his eternal slumber. The key, they learned, was to recite the ancient words before the heart statue. With the pharaoh's wrath echoing behind them, they made their way back to the main chamber. There in the fading light, they saw it, the heart statue of black gold in the shape of a jackal. Hope surged through them as they realized this was their only chance. Quickly, they assembled around the statue and began the counter spell. The words were ancient, powerful, and filled with the arcane knowledge of a long-forgotten time. They chanted in unison, their voices echoing in the vast chamber. The mummy emerged from the shadows, his form flickering like a dying flame. He lunged toward them, his eyes burning with a cold fire. But as they continued the chant, his movements slowed. The inscription on the wall glowed with an otherworldly light, drawing the pharaoh toward it. The team pressed on, their voices growing stronger. The pharaoh let out a deafening roar, his body racked with a blinding light as the counterspell reached its climax. His form began to crumble, turning to sand that swirled around them. With a final, ear-splitting screech, he collapsed, dissolving into dust. Exhausted but triumphant, they watched as the last of the pharaoh's essence slipped away. The tomb fell silent, the only sound their ragged breaths. They had succeeded in binding him to his eternal rest, but as the dust settled, they noticed a new inscription that had appeared on a nearby stone, a warning from beyond the grave. "He has risen once," it read, "and shall rise again if his name is spoken." Their ordeal was far from over. The threat of the pharaoh's return loomed, a grim reminder that their victory was only temporary. In the end, they chose to seal the tomb behind them, burying the entrance beneath the desert sands once more. As they left the site, they agreed to keep the location a secret, ensuring that the name MO's Nakit would forever remain unspoken.